A very good evening and welcome to News on NTA International. I'm host Wab. Let's get to the headlines. Senate Committee on Maritime to address security challenges on the nation's waterways. Protection of national security interest tops agenda as media stakeholders mark World Television Day. Meeting of African and Pacific Group in Nairobi, Kenya. Thanks a lot for staying tuned in. Now, heads of states and governments of the African, Caribbean and the Pacific Group of nations are holding a crucial summit in Nairobi, Kenya on how the emerging global player Respondent Usman reports that Nigeria has significant relevance in this book.
Of nations is an emerging global player in 79 countries from the diverse region of the world in 1985. The group conducts summits like this one to deliberate on key development challenges and chart course for greater sustainability and economic sufficiency. The Council of Ministers meeting is one of the major engagements of Africa, Caribbean and Pacific Group of nations. In this summit, the for 2020 to 2025 done on a rotational basis. Is the turn of South Africa to produce the next sector. Angola, Malawi and Zimbabwe have indicated interest in that position, while Nigeria, which is leading West African region, is asking the group to consider high-level positions to that region in the next leadership.
Given the roles that we play and our contributions to ACP, I felt that we deserve such a high-level position. Our position is working with the post-Cotonou negotiations that are currently going on, that those two indices which are beneficial to Nigeria and our sub-region should be part of the agreements.
President of the Council of ACP Ministers, Patrick Pruch, and the outgoing Secretary General of the group, Patrick Gomez, suggested ways which members of the group can promote partnership, including provision of common markets among members of various regions. From Kenyatta International Convention Center, Nairobi, Usman Aliu, NTA News.
Nigeria, the federal government's rice revolution has continued to attract investment from within and outside the country. The latest is the introduction of rice modular milling machines to smallholder farmers, with Nigerians in diaspora as the drivers of a new technology. Musa Babaliu reports.
This is how integrated rice milling machines look like. It's not only big, but also cumbersome and capital intensive beyond the reach of smallholder farmers. And this type that most rural farmers use in milling is not effective in terms of quality and texture. Respite is coming the way of smallholder farmers with this mini rice milling modular. The modular has the capacity to mill 110 kilograms of rice per hour.
Training local engineers, so that by the time the Japanese go, we will have people that can maintain the machines, operate the machines, and repair the machines.
So we've worked on that, and we know that if cooperatives, 2 or 3 cooperative farmers meet, they can contribute money together and they get 1 or 2.
The local woman or the local farmer can use this, and to the community you belong, you can do this.
If this become available and accessible to farmers, agriculture economists say it will further push Nigeria's milled rice production to additional 4 million tons annually. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Away from agriculture, ECOWAS has a free movement of persons protocol and a common approach on migration with the objective of maximizing the development potentials of free movement among ECOWAS member states. Strategy for the implementation of these protocols is the focus of a 2-day dialogue on free movement and migration West Africa holding in Abuja. Onengie Fanbase reports.
Within the framework of the European Union and ECOWAS Commission Free Movement and Migration West African Project, our demand-driven facility, DDF, was set up to address institutional gaps and build the capacity of ECOWAS member states and Mauritania. Essentially, the facility was set up to help ECOWAS member states effectively implement existing protocols on free movement of persons within the sub-region.
Projects like DDF provide us with necessary data, with the experience to promote evidence-based migration governance that responds to evolving needs and ever-changing challenges, and work to empower the national and regional stakeholders and agencies.
Key themes of the Free Movement and Migration Project, namely immigration and border management, labor migration management, and counter-trafficking, are tops on the agenda of the conference.
This marriage, essentially, of regional level norms and instruments with national, institutional, and programmatic capacity building is an approach the ECOWAS Commission will continue to pursue in years to come.
I think we all agree that this project has indeed contributed to strengthening relations between West African countries, between ECOWAS and the European Union, but that of relations between the individual West African countries.
Expected outcomes include globally accepted migration processes that will be beneficial to the West African sub-region while leveraging nation-specific migration policies. In Abuja, Onengiye Fineface, NTA News.
The Senate Joint Committee on Navy, Finance and Marine Transport has held an investigative hearing on the operations of security agencies in the nation's waterways. During the session, the Ministry of Transportation requested for the termination of security contract by Ocean Marine Solutions, a company providing marine security since 2007.
NTA through NIMASA gave Navy 3 vessels.
Yes.
One is in use epileptically and 2 are grounded. Whether you are aware of it.
Because one of the arguments being made by the NPA was that it had given the Navy vessels that you use for this and supposedly passed it on to Ocean Marine. It has come to light that that was not the case.
The company, however, appealed for a reversal of a decision considering the huge investments made in the past 12 years.
Height of militancy, where this country would have been producing less than 300,000 barrels a day. We stood in the gap between the Navy to carry out their statutory responsibility and the oil companies who were ready to pay for our service. The cost probably would have been higher because we did a proper proposal. We did a proposal which we submitted to the Navy. And the Navy said, as long as it's no cost to government, it is there in your district. And that was how we embarked on this business. At no time, 6 years in operation, sir, at no time did NPA call us. No discussions. We just be sacked in the pages of this paper after this investment.
The public hearing is aimed at finding lasting solutions to security issues on the nation's waterways and improve revenue generation. To something else, the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs is soliciting the support of well-meaning Nigerians towards the provision of quality healthcare services. The appeal was made by the Minister of Women Affairs, Pauline Talin, when she received a health-based non-government organization seeking partnership to provide eye care health services. Glory Agbo reports.
Of children in Nigeria culminated into the enactment of the Child's Rights Act in 2003. Despite this bill, the Ministry of Women Affairs says Nigerian children are still being subjected to various forms of abuses, ranging from rape to sexual exploitation, child marriage, child labor, trafficking, and all sorts of injustice. Most worrisome is the United Nations survey that reveals that 6 out of every 10 children are being abused by either a stranger, parent, relation, or caregiver.
In an attempt to address the challenges militating against the survival and development of our dear children, has evolved several strategies to ensure the protection of the rights of the child such as the National Child Rights Implementation Committees, the Technical Working Group on Ending Violence Against Children and on Ending Child Marriage, the Child Protection System Strengthening, among others. It is pertinent to note that stakeholders must be conversant with the rights of children as well as their responsibilities.
Impacting key players with the right information on the Child's Right Act for effective implementation across board is the reason for this gathering. Momso Damien.
To security matters, the Nigerian Army is to convert Kuyambana Forest in Kaduna State to a military training ground to deter bandits from the area. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that the proposed army barracks in Kuyambana Forest will hopefully dispatch criminals and restore peace and security.
Kuyambana Forest, a vast ungoverned land spanning through Kaduna to Zamfara State. The area suitable for agriculture provides safe haven for bandits and kidnappers terrorizing parts of northwestern Nigeria. The proposed army training camp in Kuyambana will disperse criminals from the forest, restore peace and security to the area.
We have undeniably achieved so much in the area of security. These achievements are attributable to the focus and exemplary leadership Mr. President has provided to the armed forces of Nigeria and other security agencies.
To Governor Nasru Ahmed El-Rufai,
the Nigerian Army,
recent innovations by the Nigerian Army can facilitate the much desired military-industrial development.
We are also proud the Nigerian Army is working assiduously in line with the current economic realities to explore the huge potentials within its ranks, to come up with world-class innovations. We believe that in no distant future, the Nigerian Army would not only be self-sufficient in the production of its raw materials, but will be competing favorably in the global market in military supplies and procurement.
General Tuku Buratai also inspected and inaugurated projects at the Nigerian Defense Academy, Jaji, Kaduna State. Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Now, there must be an institutional framework in media operations that will ensure that security checks are conducted before transmission of information. This is one of the submissions of media key players at the commemoration of World Television Day lecture organized by Tozali Television in collaboration with National Broadcasting Commission in Abuja. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday has the reports.
It was on the 31st of October 1959 that history was made in the ancient city of Ibadan, southwest Nigeria, with the launch of the first TV station in Africa. These content providers, signal distributors, and other media chief executives converged to commemorate the World Television Day in Nigeria. Their mission is to deliberate on how to balance freedom with security in a digital broadcast environment.
These new broadcast channels pose existential threat to try.
Acting Director of News NTA, Halima Musa, represented the Director General, Yakubu Ibn Muhammad.
There are a lot of platforms by way of programs and interviews and even the news reports where we tend to strike a balance. Talk to the people and then give the government perspective.
We should be able to balance while we're putting out information. We should be able to should be responsible for our action.
A 5-man panel of discussants advocated strict gatekeeping on information dissemination by media outfits in compliance with the ethics of the profession. Adequate funding, key players say, will enable Nigeria be at par with other developed countries in terms of broadcasting.
At the snail speed we are moving now, I don't think we can cover the entire country in the next 10 years. The government needs to invest a lot of money. Government needs to make it a priority.
Internet protocol platform is the next level in digital broadcasting the world over. Another challenge for signal distributors.
Pinnacle and ITS are already there to take advantage of that.
the security of the signal that we transmit is horribly encoded.
Nigeria currently has about 600 functional registered broadcast media outfits. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday, NTA News.
This is the news on NTA International, reaching you from Abuja. We have a break now. Mornings in just a moment.
That channel where you watch just now don't waka. No panic.
Can you mean no panic?
You go do it by yourself like ABC. Oh yeah, press the menu button on top your remote. Scroll up and down till you see Information Central. Then press OK.
Press OK.
Check the signal strength and quality. If the signal strength and quality pass 70, make you press the exit button, go back. Go advanced options, then choose installation, then go to reset and press OK.
Yeah, press OK. Wow, now you self fit catch all those channels will be one miss road by yourself. Yes, make your group for no loss. You see as I do, Abi? And I see as I do,
Go TV, live it, love it.
And I see as we do,
NTA International News. Africa as it is.
Thanks a lot for sticking around. The Kwara State's Governor Abdurrahman Abdurazak has felicitated with the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, who turns 68, wishing the Minister a happy birthday on behalf of the people and governments of Kwara State. In a statement by his Chief Press Secretary, Rauf Ajakaye, acknowledged the role played by Lai Mohammed in the journey of APC to power in Nigeria and in Kwara State. He also commended the continuous contributions of the celebrant to national development, while praying God to grant him long life and good health. A 24 fuel-laden trucks have been seized on their way out of the country by men of the National Border Drill around Idiroko border post. Adeni Taiwo reports that the seizure is coming few days after the interception of 13 kegs of petrol concealed in 2 caskets.
Laden trucks, 24 in all, were intercepted within the 20-kilometer border off limit by operatives of the National Border Drill, comprising the Nigerian Customs Service, the Nigerian Army, and other security agencies. Citing the operatives, addressing journalists, the Controller General of the Nigerian Customs Service, represented by the Deputy Controller General in charge of Enforcement, Inspection and Investigation, Austin Chidi, said the trucks were intercepted around border communities on their way out of the country.
It shows the desperation, and it shows that the drill officers are really on top of it. Because when people start going to the extreme, it means that the man who is doing the job has actually sealed it up.
As the Nigerian Customs Service and other relevant agencies continue their onslaught against smuggling in Nigeria, those involved in this illicit business are coming up with these ingenious ways of doing their business. The latest of such is an attempt by some of these smugglers to smuggle petroleum products in a casket. 13 jerry cans of 25 liters and 6 jerry cans of 10 liters of petrol were discovered hidden in 2 caskets on their way to a neighboring country in a Mazda 626 by eagle-eyed officers of the Special Task Force.
You close the known borders, people become very desperate to use unexpected means to move things.
To be steps ahead of daredevil smugglers, the level of synergy among agencies in the joint border management must remain high.
Because if you look at it in terms of security, there has been a downward trend in the transnational organized crimes at the rate, particularly smuggling, irregular migration, and most of things which you have seen right here before you.
The team later visited the Ogun Area 1 Command Headquarters, Idiroko, and held a closed-door roundtable to fine-tune strategies. Idiroko is one of the land borders affected by the order of the federal government suspending supply of petroleum products to 20-kilometer radius of border communities. From Idiroko, Adeni Taiwo, NTA News.
It's now for our Week in Review package as we join Joyce Ometu.
Hello, this is the Week in Review segment where we look back at stories that made headlines in the last 7 days. The week started on a heartwarming note with the groundbreaking ceremony of the Transportation University in Daura, Katsina State by President Muhammadu Buhari. The university, which is the first of its kind in West Africa, is in furtherance with the federal government's commitment of domesticating railway engineering and general transportation sciences in the country. The president said the project, which will be handled by China's civil engineering company, is part of the component of the economic recovery and growth plan aimed at promoting indigenous capacity through the acquisition of technology and knowledge transfer to effectively maintain and operate the numerous railway infrastructure. Turning now to security, President Muhammadu Buhari reiterated federal government's resolve to do everything within its constitutional power in guaranteeing the security and safety of law-abiding citizens. He said this at the annual conference of the Chief of Army Staff in Kaduna, where he reassured the nation that this is a commitment that will be kept. Still at that event, the Nigerian leader unveiled a mine-resistant ambush-protected vehicle named Ezugu, which was locally designed and manufactured by the Nigerian Army to carry out insertion and extraction of troops, assault and counter-terrorism. This is in line with the federal government's local content policy aimed at promoting self-reliance in military hardware. Still on security matters, a critical compendium charting the best way forward towards restoring security in Nigeria, the Buhari approach, was formally presented to the public. It is the 2019 National Security Strategy. And now to legislative matters, the National Assembly passed the 2020 budget of 10.59 trillion naira. The budget is about 260 billion naira higher than the 10.3 trillion naira presented by President Muhammadu Buhari. The increment by the National Assembly was based on interventions in the critical areas of the economy and security. The budget is to run from 1st January to 31st December 2020. And now to judicial matters. The Federal High Court in Lagos convicted Senate Chief Whip and former Governor of Abia State, Ojuzo Kalu, of 7.65 billion naira fraud. Kalu was prosecuted by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission for the fraud committed during his tenure as Abia State's governor between 1999 and 2007. Although the defendant pleaded not guilty to the charges, Justice Mohammed Idris sentenced him to 12 years imprisonment. Meanwhile, the Department of State Services rearrested the convener of the Revolution Now protests, Omoyele Sowore, and his co-defendant, Olawale Bakare, in the High Court premises. This came after their release following the adjournment of his case by the court to 11th February 2020. Still on judicial matters, the High Court in Kaduna has ordered the Directorate of the State Security Service, DSS, to relocate the leader of the proscribed Islamic movement of Nigeria, Ibrahim El-Zakzaki, and his wife to one of the correctional centers in Kaduna. Justice Gideon Kurada gave the order at the resumed trial of Sheikh El-Zakzaki. And that wraps up this segment. Many thanks for your time. I am Joyce Ometu.
All right, thanks to you too, Joyce. And now President Muhammadu Buhari has sent a message of condolence to the President of the United Arab Emirates, UAE, Sheikh Khalifa bin Zayed Al Nahyan, following the death of his brother, Prince Sultan. And a letter to the ruler of the United Arab Emirates issued by the Senior Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, President Buhari said he received with shock the news of the death of Sheikh Sultan bin Zayed Al Nahyan, the president's representative and brother who died some days ago. He, on behalf of the government and people of Nigeria, extends his profound condolences to His Highness bin Nahyan family, the government and the entire good people of the United Arab Emirates, and prayed Allah to grant the deceased Jannatul Firdaus. And similarly, President Muhammadu Buhari joins Christendom at large in mourning the passing of renowned evangelist Rehad Bunke at 79, describing his transition as a great loss to Nigeria, Africa, and the world in general. The president condoles with government and people of Germany, family and friends of a great preacher and teacher of the Bible, and all his co-laborer in the vineyard, praying that the good Lord will comfort all those that mourn him. The president prays that the Almighty God will accept the soul of the departed preacher, believing that his legendary contributions to the body of Christ in teaching and writing will always be remembered by posterity. And also, President Muhammadu Buhari has described the death of Nigeria's foremost women politician, Titi Ajanaku, as a major loss to Nigeria's democratic struggles because of her role in those struggles cannot be forgotten in a hurry. In a condolence message on Saturday, President Buhari said the late Ajanaku will be fondly remembered as an energetic for herself in the struggle to establish democratic order in Nigeria. The president said, and I quote, to her credit, she achieved prominence in her own rights because she worked so hard to make a mark, end of quote. President Buhari urged other Nigerian women to follow in the footsteps of Titi Ajanaku in the struggle to break the political glass ceiling, an effort that demands patience, tenacity, consistency, and self-confidence. The president prayed God to grant Titi Ajanaku's soul eternal rest and strengthen her family to overcome the loss. And that concludes the news on NTA International. Thanks a lot for your time. Join us at 9 for Weekend Fire. Good evening.